There it is. So welcome to day 4, the art of turning complimentary coaching calls into paying clients. I am so excited to be with you all tonight. I'm asking people to share in the chat. Whether you're here with us live on the Zoom call, share it in the chat. If you're watching this, the uploaded version, the replay version in the Facebook group, drop it in the chat. Why did you become a coach? I think it is super, super inspiring for us to share our why with other coaches. I also think it's really important for us to hold tight to our hearts, our why for ourselves each and every morning that we wake up and that we're working on this. Being an entrepreneur, it ain't for the faint of heart. So your why, you guys know this, I'm preaching to the choir. We've got to keep that in a locket in our pocket. That's got to be something we hold on to tight each and every day. So today we're talking about the art of turning complimentary coaching calls into paying clients. This is it. This is when the magic happens. What I'm going to do is drop some information in the chat. Again, I said this last time. I have no idea, Tabitha, if you're able to pin this to the top of the chat or not. But this will give you guys some information that people have been asking for. So there it is in the chat. Dropped it in there. Today's topic. Today we're going to talk about the 5 key places. Well, no, that ain't right. We talked about that yesterday. Today we're going to talk, let me tell you what we're going to talk about. Those aren't the right bullet points. Today we're going to talk about how do you get a complimentary call? So that's number 1. We're going to talk about what needs to happen before the complimentary call. And I think that's where a lot of coaches drop the ball. They just get on the call, but you actually need to educate people before the call on who you are, what coaching is, etc. So what needs to happen before the call? What does a complimentary coaching call need to look like? What does the complimentary coaching call need to look like? And then the important part, and I'm going to give you a script as well. We're going to talk about the transition piece. So you're coaching, you're complimentary coaching, you're blowing their minds. And you get to the last 20 minutes or so of the call. What does that transition look like? How can you do it in a way that's not awkward, right? That doesn't feel awkward or weird or kind of choppy. How do you transition into saying, hey, come work with me? So that's what we're going to talk about. And then we're also going to talk about what happens when people say yes. What happens when people say no? What happens when people say, I'll think about it in terms of working with you? Because there's a different path for each. All right. So that is going to be what we get into today. I put a couple links in the chat that have had people ask me about. One, I've mentioned a couple times the Corporate to 6-Figure Coach Academy. That's my group of clients that I work with. I work with people one-on-one. I work with people in a group. And I put in the chat a link. I put in the chat a link for you to learn more about the Academy if you so choose. So I've had a couple people ask me about that. There it is. There's also a link to book a discovery call. And to be clear, on a discovery call, right, which is different than a complimentary coaching call, all different types of calls out there. It's important for people to know what's what. A discovery call is to learn more about said program, right? Hey, I want to learn more about the Academy. Tell me more about what that entails. Tell me more about what that looks like. Tell me more about your options. What are the different ways I can work with you? What's the pricing? And the most important question, are we a fit? Are we a fit? So if you book a discovery call with us, one of the things we're going to ask you to do is fill out a short prep form so that we can, kind of match up ahead of time, right? Are we going to be a good fit? And then that will help inform the conversation. So that's what I dropped into the chat. And I love it. I want to read you your comments real quick before I dive in tonight. Again, the question I asked was, why did you become a coach? Michael says, other coaches have had a huge impact on helping me become a corporate executive and have a more satisfying life. Yeah, I hear that one a lot, Michael, right? Is that we work with a coach and it blows our mind, right? And it feels so good. And we're achieving all these things we never thought we could achieve. And we're able to share things we're not usually able to share. And before you know it, you're like, man, that's what I want to do that. You know, how did you get into that? So I love that, Michael. So I could learn from Betty Kempa. Greg, every single call, you're giving me the LOLs. I love it. What's he going to say next? I love it, Greg. Sheila, I've been nursing for 35 years and I see the need to help people on life basis versus only with meds. I love that. Yeah. And it's, man, that's a whole nother rabbit hole I could go through. First off, thank you for, being a nurse for 35 years. Nurses are my heroes. Nurses are my heroes, bar none. I'm a cancer survivor, so I've definitely experienced nurses as my heroes. And I will say too, what you were saying, Sheila, about helping people on a life basis versus only with meds. I will say this, and I'm sharing you guys, this is something, kind of personal, but it's a safe space here. When I got my diagnosis, one of the things that really I feel like gave me a jump start over a lot of people is that I was certified as a coach. And that mindset piece, right? We learn as coaches all about the mindset, energy, mindset. And that was really able to help me in addition to my doctor's care and the medicine, et cetera. And I remember even my doctors and nurses commented, Betty, your mindset is a big piece of, why you're thriving. So Sheila, I love what you do and where you're going with this because it's true. It is very true. A little bit of a rabbit hole there. Okay, scrolling down a little bit more. I won't go through and read everybody's, but I love reading your stories. Greg, also so I could help reduce toxicity in the workplace. Amen. And lift others who are overwhelmed by catabolic energy. Yeah, absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar with catabolic energy, that's, I guess, a whole nother topic too. That's something that I don't know which coach certifications talk about it, but I know IPEC did. And we talked about catabolic energy instead of like good and bad. Catabolic energy could be either level 1 energy, which is kind of victim mentality, level 2 energy, which is kind of that anger mentality. There were all these different levels of energy. So helping people rise out of that catabolic energy, which boy, oh boy, does that show up in the workplace along with toxicity, which is a shame because it doesn't have to be that way. So love where you're going with that, Greg. David, I've been told over and over by leaders how much I've helped them to be better people managers and get through tough times with heart. Yeah, a lot of you guys that are here are natural coaches. You are natural coaches. A lot of you guys are here are natural coaches. And that's something that's kind of cool too, right? It's not like you go to get certified and it's like, whoa, this isn't me at all. Most of you, this is who you are. It's like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. You're wearing the ruby red slippers. You just needed to click them. It's already, that's why I like to say, I help corporate renegades take what's already inside of them and repackage that into a coaching business that can replace their corporate income. Because most of you guys already have that within you. So thank you guys for sharing here. And Lisa, I love that you have this story here that you're sharing with us as well. And I'm going to read through the whole thing by the end of this here. Yeah, Lisa, I love your story. And I know you've been with us before, so I know a bit of it. Thank you for sharing it with us. All right, so let's get to it. William is here. What's going on, William? Waiting for you, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get started. The art of turning complimentary coaching calls into paying clients. Let's do the thing. Welcome back, everyone. This is part four, day four of the 3-step client acquisition system. I like to have things that rhyme or have alliteration. I don't know. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. The 3-step client acquisition system. So it's day 4 of that, and we're going to talk about turning complimentary coaching calls into paying clients. My name is Betty Kempa, business coach for coaches, IPEC graduate, member of the Forbes Coaches Council, ranked one of the top coaches in Denver and then again in Tampa by Influence Digest, founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, which I mentioned some people were asking me about, where we help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius that's already within them into a coaching business. Welcome back. We've got an amazing session tonight. This is an important one. Pull out your homework, pull out your homework, pull out your workbook. And it is page 9. If anybody needs a workbook, put it into the chat. Workbook, I need a workbook. Put it into the chat if you need a workbook. And Tabitha or Heather will drop a link for you to get your workbook. Hey, Maureen, what's going on? Tabitha, yeah, if you could drop a link. And we did create the workbook to be fillable. So you'll be able to fill in the workbook. You got it, William. Shout you out, buddy. So turn to page 9. Get ready to take a lot of notes. Let's talk about how to turn complimentary coaching calls into paying clients. Quick FYI reminders coming up. Some sessions that are coming up. Okay, we've got another session tomorrow, 4 same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got some sessions over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and we've moved those to be earlier during the weekend, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be covering things like I have a couple coaches coming in who I'm going to interview. These are coaches who have had a successful corporate to coach transition. It's really, really important for you guys to hear from coaches who have done the thing that you're trying to do. So I'm going to be interviewing them. How'd you do it? What worked for you? You guys feel free to ask some questions in the chat. They'll answer your questions, etc. Both of these ladies are clients of mine. One literally just graduated from the academy. She's at $17,500 per month. Another client of mine, $30K per month. Again, it ain't all about the money, but the point is, right? These are coaches just like you, some that attended the workshop just like you and followed the steps and were able to, make coaching their full-time thing. So I want you to hear from them what works, what doesn't work. So we'll be bringing those ladies in. What else are we doing? We'll be doing a rapid fire Q&A. So I'll be answering all your hot seat questions. Any questions that you've asked, and I want to remind you to ask questions tonight. Throw your questions in the chat tonight. Tabitha's scooping them all up so I can do a rapid fire Q&A. That'll likely be this weekend. I'll be doing a training on the 5 mistakes that I've seen coaches make that actually prevent them from replacing their corporate income with a coaching business. I'll be going over that. So all that to come over the next 3 days. Make sure you don't miss a session. What else? All the videos and training will come down Tuesday, May 21st. So please do write that down in your workbook. Tuesday, May 21st at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Like Cinderella, she's going to lose her carriage. It will turn into a pumpkin and all the videos and training will disappear. I tell you that so that you watch, if you missed a video or whatever, watch the replays before Tuesday at midnight. Be sure that you have all the upcoming sessions mapped out on your calendar. Each is incredibly unique and designed to add to what you've already learned. And again, questions you can put in the chat, questions you can put in the Facebook group. I'm also in the Facebook group interacting with people. You can DM questions to me or your concierge. I'm going to cover everything in the Q&A. All right, we have our next gift card drawing. We'll do another Amazon gift card. I'm going to announce the winner of that gift card at the end of the session tonight. And yes, let's make sure I have that name in front of me so I'm not scrambling for it. Be sure that you are here live tonight in order to receive your prize, So we'll be talking about that tonight as well. I'll be announcing the winner. So let's get started. Let's do the thing. So we're going to get right into the workbook. And this might be a session where you do have some questions, right? Because this is where we're really doing the thing. William, are we covering marketing? Well, marketing is definitely my jam, right? This is kind of my background in corporate communications, copy, messaging, marketing. Are we covering marketing tonight? No, tonight is a little bit more sales. Tonight is a little bit more sales, but we will be covering marketing coming up over the next 3 days. We will be covering marketing coming up over the next 3 days. So don't miss that for sure. All right, so let's talk about it. How do you get a complimentary coaching call? Let's start there. So again, Paige, put in the chat if you need a workbook, say workbook in the chat. Page 9, how do you get a complimentary coaching call? How do you get one? How does one come about, right? Or if you're like, I want complimentary coaching calls, I don't know how to get them. Well, we've already talked about a couple ways. There are many ways, but the 2 ways in specifically that we've discussed already. One, you could get a complimentary call from an ICA survey, an ideal client avatar survey. And if you're like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about, make sure you watch the sessions day 1, 2, or 3. All of them if you can. We talked about what is an ideal client avatar survey, how do you run them, what questions you ask. An ICA survey is essentially market research. You're asking questions to somebody who's an ideal client avatar about what pain, what's your urgent problem as it relates to your niche, right? If you're a leadership coach, what's your urgent problem as it relates to leadership? If you're a relationship coach, what's the urgent problem as it relates to your relationship? Just about the problem, the pain. You're asking them about their dream or their goal as it relates to your niche. You're asking about why it's important that they achieve it, right? You're asking questions like this. And the idea is that, and we've talked about this already, at the end of the ICA survey, you're saying, hey, as a thank you for your time, I'd love to offer you a complimentary coaching call. And before you get off the ICA call, you're going to schedule the complimentary coaching call. Okay. So that's way number 1. And this is essentially an organic sales funnel. So I run an ICA survey. I offer a complimentary coaching call. I'm not going to do it during the survey. I'm going to schedule a separate complimentary coaching call, but I am going to schedule it before I get off the phone. Because we don't want to lose people. People are busy bees. I attract busy people, and you probably will too. The second place you can get a complimentary coaching call, we talked about it day 1, is your inner circle. If you have not, or if you lost track of it, your inner circle tracker, I gave you guys a big old spreadsheet, inner circle tracker. If you want that, if you haven't received it, if you missed day 1, put in the chat inner circle tracker, and Tabitha or Heather can get you the link for that. But we talked about the inner circle. So just your network, right? Your friends, your family, your colleagues. We talked about, all the people in your inner circle and striking up conversations with them, talking to your inner circle about what you're up to. Yeah, I'm building this business, and this is, you're sharing your niche. I'm focused on, relationships, and I'm helping couples learn to fall back in love again after they're married, or, I'm making this up. And then you're asking your inner circle, do you know anybody? Right. So an ideal client avatar or a complimentary coaching call could come from your inner circle, right? If you're talking to someone in your network that says, that's me, well, shoot, you could just go straight to giving them a complimentary coaching call if you want. The funnel is up to you. You could start with the ICA survey and then move to the complimentary call. Or if the person is like up for it, you could skip right to saying, hey, let's schedule a complimentary coaching call, right? I'm happy to go through that with you. So whether the funnel is inner circle survey, ICA survey, complimentary coaching call, or you could skip the ICA survey and go straight to the complimentary coaching call. Okay, it's up to you. You kind of have to feel that out. So that's how you're going to get the complimentary coaching call. And if your inner circle's like, yeah, that's not me. Your neighbor's like, nah, that's not me. But my cousin, yeah. Or my colleague, yeah. Right. And then they introduce you to their colleague. So your complimentary coaching calls, I would kind of focus on them coming from those warm leads, inner circles or ICA surveys. They're going to come from one of the two. Next question on page 9, and write both of those down that I just shared with you. Next question is, what calls may come before the complimentary coaching call? And there's a couple that come to mind. I'm not saying this is it, but these are the two main calls in my mind. So one, obviously, we talked about the ICA survey. So that's number one, comes before the complimentary coaching call. We're doing market research. We're doing a 20-minute ICA survey at the end. We're saying, hey, as a thank you for this, I want to offer you a complimentary coaching call. But here's the second place, a complimentary coaching call, a call that may come before that. So instead of an ICA survey, you might have what is known as a connect call. A connect call. And here's my definition of a connect call. Some of you guys would call it, I don't know why, I'm not a fan of calling it this, but some of you guys may think of this as a virtual coffee chat. A virtual coffee chat. Usually a connect call, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, right? It's a quickie, it's a touch point, it's a get to know you. Or sometimes if you already know the person, it's just been a while since you've connected, you're reconnecting, right? Hey, how you doing? What have you been up to? I think the reason why I shy away from calling it a virtual coffee chat is because I'm always trying to think the human being I'm talking to, the with them, what's in it for me being that person, what's in it for them, right? Because when you say to someone, hey, you want to do a virtual coffee chat? And they're like, oh, virtual coffee, I'm so busy. But if you talk about a connect call and maybe you're sharing with them, hey, I really respect you as, whatever your niche is. Again, let's say I'm a leadership coach. I really respect you as an executive in the industry. I would love to get some of your thoughts on ABC. I'm building some social media content and some articles in my newsletter, and I'm trying to get ideas for topics. And I think you would be like the perfect person to get ideas from, right? So a connect call could be, the what's in it for me is like, oh, maybe you share a topic with me that is a great topic. And then I'm going to go out and write a newsletter on it and share it with you because it's something you want to learn that has to do with my niche. Maureen, good question. Discovery call. Yeah, there's a lot of different types of calls. I think that's where it's like, which caller, right? Who's on first? So connect call is like a quick touch point. It's like a virtual coffee chat. And sometimes a connect call is like, hey, I want to get ideas from you for social media content, et cetera. It's like a 5 to 10 minute touch point. If it's someone you already know, it's like, hey, let's just touch base. Connect call. Complimentary coaching call is just like it sounds. I'm going to coach you. I am coaching you on the complimentary coaching call. Now, what we're going to talk about today is using 40 minutes as a complimentary coaching, and then using 20 minutes to pitch. That's what we're going to talk about today. But the complimentary coaching call is, I'm going to complimentary coach you. Then the discovery call is different. And Heather gave a response here too. I would call a discovery call. I would think of it as a consult. It's a consultation is what it is. It's just like when you think about the term discovery call, it is truly discovery. It's a consultation. It's two humans. You can think of it like this. We're on a first date and we're trying to figure out, are we a match? So am I coaching you on a discovery call? I'm not coaching you on a discovery call. We're trying to see if we are a match. So I'm asking you questions about you. You're asking me questions about me. And Maureen, that's another good question to qualify the buyer. You actually want to qualify the buyer before the discovery call. You want to qualify the buyer before the discovery call. And I teach all of this in the academy, right? There are a lot of ways to qualify. Yeah, Jinx, Heather, and I, same thing. There are a lot of ways to qualify a buyer before a call. It could be through conversation. It could be through a connect call. It could be through an application. There are a lot of ways to qualify, but you don't want to spend a 45-minute discovery call with somebody that it's not a match, right? So you want to qualify beforehand. And I teach all of that in module 5 of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. It's a process. It's not a hard process. It's just there are steps to that. So good questions. I know I should be answering these during the rapid fire, but these are very relevant questions. So let's move now. So we answered the question, what calls could come before the complimentary coaching call? It could be an ICA survey. It could be a connect call. Maybe I'm connecting to an old college buddy, and we have a little connect call, and I'm asking, I'm telling her what I'm up to, and she's like, oh, I'm struggling with that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, let me run a complimentary coaching call on you. Let's do it. Let's set it up. When are you free? You free next Friday, 3:00? Let's do it. Right? So a complimentary coaching call could come from a connect call. Let's move on to, okay, now the person has agreed. Okay, I'll do a complimentary coaching call with you. Great. I'll do it with you. What do you email them ahead of the comp call, the complimentary coaching call? Because I would say, and this is where I also see some people kind of sliding off the rails, I wouldn't just hop into a complimentary coaching call and pitch somebody before they know, what they're getting into, and also what I do, what is coaching, what kind of coaching do I do, etc. So you actually want to educate that person before you run the complimentary coaching call. So the next question on your sheet here, page 9, what do you email the prospect prior to the complimentary coaching call? What do you email them ahead of time? And here's my recommendation. 4 different things. Write this down. Get ready to write it down. Number 1, you want to give them some kind of confirmation of the appointment date and time. Now, for some of you, if some of you already have a scheduling tool, Acuity or Calendly or whatever, that'll just automatically send out a confirmation. So you don't have to worry about that. But for some of you that are just getting started and you don't have a scheduling tool, that's fine. Just in the email that you send out, just confirm we are meeting this day, this time, and here's my Zoom link, right? Give me your Zoom link. And I would recommend doing the complimentary coaching call on Zoom. It wouldn't be the end of the world over the phone, but I do it over Zoom. So that's number 1. Send them a confirmation. Send them a confirmation of appointment, date, time, Zoom link. Number two, write this down. Number 2, I would ask them to let you know ahead of time, and this is optional, but perhaps you want to request what is the specific topic that you want to be coached on as it pertains to your niche, right? As it pertains to relationships, what's one topic you'd like to be coached on? As it pertains to health, whatever your niche is. So you can ask ahead of time. Please let me know, 24 hours prior to our call, what is the one topic you want to be coached on? And I would give them as a reminder, here are some of the pain points you shared with me over the ICA survey. You told me your urgent problem was boom, boom, boom. So as a reminder, you could choose from one of those. So it's up to you. You don't have to ask ahead of time. You could ask right on the call, right? Some of you guys are so good. You can get on a call blind and just be like, what do you got? And start coaching. So it's just, if you're a preparer or if you'd rather on the fly, it's up to you. I think my main thing is I just want to make sure that the people getting on this complimentary coaching call with you isn't picking some random topic that is so far removed from your niche that you're like, I'm going to spend 45 minutes coaching you on a health issue, and I am a divorce coach. You know what I'm saying? So, and for me personally, it's just me. I like to prepare. One of my strengths is researching. I like scripts. I like preparing. That's just me. Some of you guys, you're cool. You're like, yep, I already know the urgent problems from the ICA survey. I'm good. So for you, you know, it's up to you, optional. Number three, write this down. Number three, in the email you send them ahead of time, set the call agenda. What we do not want to happen is for people to get on a complimentary coaching call and to be totally surprised when you start talking about potentially coaching with them at the end of the call. They're like shocked, right? So I would let them know ahead of time. I mean, you can word it however you want to word it, but I would say something like, you know, call agenda, 40 minutes, coaching on one specific problem as it relates to your health, as it relates to whatever your niche is, relationships. And you could put in parentheses, you know, the pain points they shared during the ICA survey. So you're like 40 minutes and you're being clear. I'm not coaching you on everything, one specific topic. And then I would say call agenda last, you know, 20 minutes. So I'd make it a 60-minute call. And again, you guys, I'm just giving you an example. You structure this however you want to structure this. I'd say 40 minutes, I'm going to coach you on a specific problem. And then 20 minutes, I'm going to talk you through the next steps to solve the bigger problem, or the next steps to achieve the bigger outcome, right? Because you're giving them a mini problem you're going to coach on, but that's just the beginning of the bigger problem they have, or the bigger outcome they want to achieve. So last 20 minutes, I'm going to talk you through what those next steps are. And if I feel like I'm able to help you, you know, I can provide for you some options, AKA, you know, coaching with you. So you don't need to come out and say like, oh, I'm going to, you know, you're going to coach with me, but you're going to talk them through the next steps. And then basically at the end of that, you're going to say, hey, this is what I do. I coach people on this. So you're letting them know ahead of time. 40 minutes, coach mini problem, 20 minutes running through the next steps towards achieving the larger goal and potential solutions. And the potential solution is going to be coaching with you. And I say potential because you may have a call with them and decide, I don't want to work with this person. They're not qualified. They're not an ideal coaching client like I thought they were, right? So just reminder, you get to decide. You know, we have an application-based process. We do not accept everyone into the academy. Okay, like it's the ethical way of doing things, right? You don't want to, if you're looking at someone and you're like, this is not a potential client who's going to excel with us, you know, or however, if you don't even want to work with them, you don't have to. Okay. So be mindful. Number 4, what you're going to email them ahead of time. You know what? I would email ahead of time if they're not clear on what coaching is. I would either write an article or I would find an article. And find an article, a good article that shares the definition of coaching and the benefits of coaching. You can either write an article or find an article. And I would link that to the email ahead of time so that they're not coming to this call misunderstanding what coaching is, right? Like expecting you to give them all the answers or whatever. We're setting expectations, okay? So really important. Any questions on the email that you sent ahead of time? Lisa says, but you get experience, or maybe you get a lead. Yeah, you're right, Lisa. Absolutely. Every time you coach somebody, you get experience. Absolutely. Every time you coach somebody, you get experience. So the question is more, after that experience, after that one call, do I want to continue to work with this person? You know what I mean? Do I want to continue to work with this person? So you guys get to, all I'm saying is I want you guys to feel empowered. You get to decide. You get to decide. Absolutely. And you're right. It does open doors. I'll say this too. And this is a different type of call, but the discovery call that we were talking about, I remember when I first started as a career coach, this has to do with what you're saying, Lisa. I ran a discovery call, and the gal, I was a career coach at the time. She was in a lot of pain in a toxic corporate environment. She was being bullied. She was in tears on the discovery call, and she didn't end up becoming a client. She just didn't have the budget for it. But great gal. And I did the best I could at minimum to share free resources with her, and even just having that conversation on that call, she left feeling better. I didn't coach her because you don't coach on a discovery call. But just having the conversation, she felt better. She ended up sending me a referral, and that referral ended up becoming a client. Right. So you never know. You never know where these doors will take you. Good point, Lisa. And get a good recommendation. Yeah, absolutely. Another good point too, Lisa. When you do a complimentary coaching call, let's say the person says at the end of the call, no, I'm not going to work with you. I don't have the budget, whatever the reason is. They may say, I don't have the budget to work with you, but that was a great complimentary coaching call. Is there anything I could do for you? If somebody says that to you after a complimentary coaching call, I would say, please give me a testimonial, right? That would be an amazing thing for you to do, right? So absolutely. Michael, do you recommend creating an info sheet intake form to get a feel for the client before the call? I do. We do. We have an application form. Like I said, we do not. This is an application-based coaching. Part of it for us is also in group coaching. We have to protect our clients, that we're bringing in people who are going to have the anabolic energy that's going to affect the vibe of the tribe. So, yeah, I'm all about creating an intake form to get a feel for a client. But, again, for you guys with the complimentary coaching call, it's up to you in the beginning. What do you want to get out of this? So I think like Lisa's point and your point, Michael, these are all good points. So each of you guys needs to ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this complimentary coaching call? If you're just looking for practice, you don't need an intake form. If you're happy to get a testimonial and not a client, you don't need an intake form. If you want to make sure that you're only running complimentary coaching calls with qualified people, then yeah, you would want an intake form. And in the academy in module 5, I actually talk about questions to ask in the intake form depending on your niche, right? So it depends what you want to get out of the call. It depends what you want to get out of the call. But definitely in the academy, we teach using intake forms to help inform the call. I will say this. The good part about if your funnel is ICA survey to complimentary coaching call, you've just spent 20 minutes with that person, them telling you their urgent problem. You're getting a feel for who they are. They're telling you their goal. So you may not know, financially, are they qualified? From a timing aspect, are they qualified? Is it, but you will know, is it an urgent need? So it's like you'll be able to almost half qualify them from the ICA survey. But that's a really good question. And we can talk more about the intake form on the rapid fire Q&A as well. Okay, let's go on to the complimentary coaching call agenda, the complimentary coaching call agenda. Side note, I didn't say this in the beginning, so I better say this now. Tonight's call is going to be a little bit longer than an hour, so bear with me. Little bit longer than an hour. So stay with me because this is an important topic. I should have said that in the beginning, but I rolled right into it. Complimentary coaching call agenda. So let's look at the bottom of page 9. The bottom of page 9. The complimentary coaching call agenda. Now, when I'm saying the complimentary coaching call agenda itself, I think what I'm trying to say here to you guys is this is what you want to say. So I got you on the call. I'm all excited. I'm going to do my complimentary coaching. Now, what do I say? What do I say? What's the agenda? What do I say? What are the words that come out of my mouth? Right? So number one is the intro, right? So you're going to remind people who you are, right? What's your coaching title? What's your niche? Who do you help with what? Right? You might want to remind them, what is this? I know this sounds wild because you're like, Betty, we already emailed all this to them. People are busy. People do this, that. They're on calls all day for work. They get home. They have this call. They're like, wait, what am I doing again? What is this again? You'd be surprised. So you want to remind them like, okay, we are here today to run a complimentary coaching call. And then I would give them a quick definition of coaching. Or I would ask, did you get a chance to read through the link I sent you about coaching? If they said yes, I would just continue on. If they're like, oh, I didn't get a chance, I'd give them the definition of coaching so that they understand I'm not here to solve your problem. I'm here to coach you through it, right? So do a little intro in the beginning. This is who I am. This is my coaching title. This is my I help who with what. Here's what we're here today to do. Here's what coaching is, right? So that's number one. Write that down. It's essentially the intro. Number two, let's get straight into coaching, right? And I would also let's back up and put with number one, reiterate the agenda. Reiterate, even though you emailed it to them, reiterate. We're going to coach on one problem for 40 minutes as it relates to fill in the blank. In the last 20 minutes, we're going to talk through the steps you're going to take to continue to work on the bigger picture as it relates to the bigger outcome. And then as you're going through, right, we're getting their buy-in. We're not shoving it down their throats, right? How does that sound, right? So we're reminding them of the agenda. How does that sound, right? To get buy-in. Number two, write this down. Number two, get to coaching. Don't do a big long spiel in the beginning, right? It's a quickie reminder. Why are we here? Who am I? Who are you? Like I said, I would do this on Zoom and get to coaching. Coach on their one specific mini problem. Again, either they chose it ahead of time, maybe you gave them an intake form and they filled that out, or maybe they're coming to the call and you're going to ask them, they're going to share. The hope is it's a problem related to your niche, right? That's why we did the ICA survey. So you're going to coach for 40 minutes. I'm not going to talk about how to coach, right? You guys, what I'm going to say here. I'm not here to teach people how to coach. I'm here to teach coaches how to build their business, right? Marketing, messaging, standing up their business. So you guys do the coaching, right? However you were taught to coach, wherever you went to get certified, right? Whatever your style is, you're going to coach on that specific problem. However you learned how to coach. That's number two. And then, I like to let people know, with the 40 minutes, okay, we're at the 5-minute mark. We got about 5 minutes left. So you can kind of wrap it up. And I would say we're at the 5-minute mark, of coaching through this problem. And then we're going to move to next steps. So I like to let people know when we're like 35 minutes in, so we can end at 40 minutes. And I'll let them know, okay, we're at the 40-minute mark now. As I mentioned before, let's, now would be the time for us to kind of talk through the steps. I don't want to get off this call with you and kind of leave you hanging. Let's talk about the next big pillars for you to go through in order to solve the larger problem. Now, when you are a more advanced coach, like the coaches that come to my program, Module 2 in the Academy, I teach coaches how to build a signature methodology. 3 to 5 steps or pillars to get their clients from pain to dream. So in the Academy, right, you've got a signature method. That would be the time you walk them through your signature method. For you guys, if you're not there yet, and that's fine. You don't need a signature method to get a client, your first couple clients. You're going to need it eventually, and it's going to make your life easier. But in the beginning, right, what I would probably focus on with that person is, if I ran an ICA survey with them, I already know the pillars I'm going to coach them on, because they already told me, Betty, let's say I'm a leadership coach. Let's say they told me, Betty, here are my problems during the ICA survey. They said, my boss is on my back. My team doesn't listen to me. I can't get everybody on the same page. I've got imposter syndrome. I've got this big title, but I don't feel like I even belong here sometimes. And, I have so much on my plate. I feel super overwhelmed. I'm struggling to prioritize, and my boss isn't really helping me with that. Maybe I shared those 4 urgent problems as it relates to me being a leader. So if you're doing a complimentary coaching call with me, and maybe we're just doing one mini problem, in those last 20 minutes, I'd say, listen, right? The next steps you're going to want to take is step 1. We're coaches. So usually step 1 is the mindset stuff, right? We're going to work on the mindset piece of it, right? We're going to, the fears, the imposter syndrome, right? We're going to work on that. Step 2, we're going to coach around communication with your boss, how to have difficult conversations, how to respond when you feel like you're getting bullied, the mindset, the perspective that you can kind of switch. So we're going to work through that as pillar 2. Pillar 3, we're going to work on leading your team versus managing your team. You see what I'm saying? So the pillars, and I wouldn't go past 3 to 5. That'll just, people's heads will explode. Should just be customized. Write that down. It should be customized towards what they told you on the ICA survey. These are my urgent problems, and these are the outcomes and dreams I have. That's why I like the funnel to be an ICA survey, because I got all this info now to the complimentary coaching call. And I already know, based on the ICA survey, here are the big buckets we're going to focus on. And then the person I'm talking to is also like blown away, because they're like, you really are customizing this to me. And you are, right? You're customizing this to what they told you they need help with. So you're walking them through those 3 to 5, and they can either be sequential or they can be pillars. And like I said, right, if you feel kind of nervous about that, I teach people how to create a signature method that across the board you can use for your niche in the academy. But for now, focus on what they tell you during the ICA survey. Number four, write this down. Number 4, you want to get their buy-in during a call. And when I say get their buy-in, I don't know, put this to you guys. I hate calls that feel pushy. I hate calls that feel like somebody's pushing something down my throat. So I don't teach that way, right? So it's about getting buy-in. Hey, in the email agenda I sent you, I talked about the 3 to 5 pillars of, what you need to focus on next to be able to achieve the goal. Are you ready to talk about that? How does that sound, right? That would be getting their buy-in. Because if they're like, no, I don't care, I don't want to know, I'm not going to shove it down somebody's, right? So we make sure we're on the same page. So, walk them through that. And then, at the end of that, right, is when you're going to say, listen, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Right? Do you have any questions on what I shared? And usually people are going to say, well, I don't know how. You told me what, but I don't know how. And that's where you're going to say, listen, that this is what I do. I am a coach in this area. I am a coach as a leader. I'm a coach for, health problems. This is what I do. I would coach you through this until we got, to the end of this and got closer to the outcome that you're looking for. Cicely, Victoria, basically get the buy-in for the pitch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we never want to just shove something down somebody's throat, right? Really important. So let's actually get into that a little bit more. Let's get into that even more. We're going to go even more in depth. So turn the page to page 10. Page 10, you're going to see 9, the transition. I'm like trying to like read it on the screen. The transition, what to cover the last 20 minutes of the call. So let's get really nitty gritty here. Let's dissect it. Get ready to write this down, write this down. So the transition. So number 1, right? You're going to let them know, hey, this mini problem that I just coached you through, and they should be good at this point, right? You just spent 40 minutes coaching them through a mini problem. You say, hey, this mini problem that I just coached you through is actually part of the larger problem of, fill in the blank, whatever the bigger goal or bigger problem that they said that they wanted help with during their ICA survey, right? So again, I'm making this up. Let's say I'm a health coach and they said, and during the ICA survey, said, well, I don't have any energy. I go to the office, I have no energy. I come home, I don't have energy to play with my kids. If I could just fit into my jeans again and get more energy, that would be great. And then during the complimentary coaching call, maybe we start with just the mindset piece, right? And then I let them know, the mindset piece of your health and moving towards more energy, fitting back into your jeans again, feeling good when you look in the mirror. The mindset piece is just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning of achieving that larger goal that you told me during the ICA survey you wanted to achieve. So put that as number 1. You're letting them know the mini problem is just the beginning of that larger thing they shared with you during the ICA survey. Number two, write this down. Now you're going to gain their buy-in, right? Hey, are you open to hearing what the next steps are towards achieving that goal would look like? So number 2, get their buy-in, right? We're not shoving it down your throat. Like, you tell me, I don't want to work with a client who doesn't want to work with me, right? Are you open to hearing what the next steps are to achieving that goal? Number three, write this down. I would let them know at that point if they're a good candidate for coaching based on what they shared. Some people, the more you do this, some people you will know coaching is not for them, at least not with, or maybe you're just not a match. It's not anything personal, right? Sometimes you're just not a match. So again, I'm just empowering you guys. You get to decide who you want to work with. It's kind of the beauty of being an entrepreneur versus working a corporate job where you do get people shoved down your throat. You guys get to choose. So number 3, if you feel like, yeah, this is a very coachable person, I'd like to work with them, they understand what coaching is, they like coaching, I would let them know, hey, based on what you shared with me, based on where we're at, I feel like you would be a good candidate for coaching. So I would just come out and say that. Don't assume that just because you're a coach that they know or understand that you're telling them you would be a great candidate for coaching, but you got to feel that way, right? It's got to be true. If you feel not that way, this is where I might say, hey, it was great running this call with you. If you'd like to do coaching, I'm have some great referrals for you, or I'll send you some free resources, etc. But if you'd like to coach with them, let them know directly. I feel like you'd be a great candidate for coaching based on what you've shared with me. Number four, this is where we're going to talk them through that customized coaching package, right? So you're going to talk them through those 3 to 5 pillars related to their specific problems, their specific outcomes. You're going to say, here are the 3 to 5 steps. And you're going to say, by the way, those 3 to 5 steps, and then I'd pause. Do you have any questions? Potentially, they might say, okay, that's great. You told me what, but how? Right. And you're going to let them know, listen, this is what I do. I would be coaching you in those 4 pillars towards the outcome you are trying to achieve. Right. That's what coaching is. Right. So that's going to be number 4. And letting them know, this is essentially a customized coaching package, customized to what you told me you want help with. Number five, write this down. And again, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I would give them a couple different options, you know, as far as coaching with you. I'd give them a couple different options, not just like, oh, this is the only option to coach with me. I'd probably give them a couple options so they could choose. It's up to you. I like to, like when I first started as a career coach, and I will say in the beginning, I did, you know, a little bit of pro bono here and there in the beginning. But I started off as a career coach doing a 3-month option and a 6-month option. And there are a variety of reasons for that. I will say one thing to think about is it takes 90 days to build a habit. 90 days to build a habit. You know what I'm saying? So that's 3 months. Coaching is transformational change. Coaching is transformational change. So that's when we get into 6 months, a year, right? Transformational change. 90 days is a habit. So anywho, you guys can decide, but I like to give people a couple of options. Of course, if somebody chooses the longer option, typically they get a deal, a pricing deal on that as well. Lisa, where I got my certification, we were given coaching scripts that I have modified. Nice. They were 90-day programs. I mean, yeah, that could be an option. Could be a 3-month option. You're not going to be able to cover as much during a 3-month option, but you could start with, like I said, 3-month option, 90-day, and 6-month option. I think what I found over time, and again, you guys need to test. Everything in business and marketing is a test, right? It's one thing for you to see this talking head, and it's another thing for you to try things out. You know, it depends on your niche. It depends on the outcome you're helping people achieve. Only you guys can figure out and decide how long does it take to help this person achieve their goal, right? Some niches are going to take longer. Some outcomes are going to take longer. Some outcomes are not going to take as long, right? But it takes 90 days to make a habit. So I think 3 months or 6 months, it depends, right? How long it takes them. So I've tried the 3-month before as a career coach. Personally, 12 sessions. I'm not a fan of 12 sessions personally for 3 months. I like to do 3 sessions a month because I like to give myself a week off and I like to give my clients a week off. And whether that's an implementation week, whether that's they take a vacation, whether that's the kids are sick, I like to have a buffer for both of us. But you could do 12 sessions. You know, again, it's up to you guys. You guys get to choose. That's the beauty of it. This is your baby. So when I started as a career coach, I tried 3 months. And as a career coach, I was trying to help people find their passion. And what I realized over time was more and more people didn't only want to just find their passion, then they wanted help transitioning into it. Now, to Lisa's point, yeah, you could have say, hey, the first 3 months, I'm going to help you find your passion. And then if you'd like to renew with me, the next 3 months, I'm going to help you transition into that role, right? So it's always good to have a follow-up package. But like I said, I'd like to give people a couple options. That's just, I like to give people a couple options. But you guys are going to find out for yourself when you're coaching, can I get someone to an outcome in that amount of time? Because that's the idea. We're coaching you towards an outcome. And if you can't get them to an outcome in that amount of time, we got to elongate it, right? Number six, write this down, is pricing. Pricing. Everybody wants to know about pricing. Now, we do teach this in the academy, of course, right? Pricing. It's not a black and white, is it? It's not like there's a perfect number. This is the number you should all price your package at. I wish it was that easy, but we do teach you how to price in the academy. I will say this. I will say this, because that's a whole nother lesson that we do in the academy. In general, I'd like to tell people this. We teach people this in the academy, that when you're creating your package, now in the beginning, it won't be this way, but down the road, when you're creating the package, it will include deliverables. It'll include deliverables. So over time, what we teach people to do in the academy is to try to create double the value of the actual cost. Because really, your package price should be a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer. So that means we got to make it chock full of value. And that's something we teach in the academy. Okay, but pricing, and I can go deeper into pricing in the rapid fire Q&A if you guys want me to, because I know that's where people are always like, oh, what do I do with pricing? And I've seen it all. So I'm happy to go deeper. If you want me to go deeper into pricing during the rapid fire Q&A, just put it in the chat and I will. Number seven, optional. Optional, write this down. Optional, you can offer a founder's rate. You can offer if you want, right? So maybe you're planning on creating a 10K coaching package, and that's the goal. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to create 6-month 10K coaching package. I'm making this up. But you can do a founder's rate, right? You could say, hey, the first 5 people who join are getting it at half the price. Or, hey, anybody who joins this month, the month of June, half the price, right? So it's optional. Don't feel like the price you choose is the forever price, right? I think about even, I used to go to Orange Theory Fitness. It's a boutique gym. And it was like way back in the day when they first started. For any of you who have, anybody here going to Orange Theory, or am I just, you guys are like, what are you talking about? But when I first started going, they just opened. And so they had a founder's rate. And I got like a really good rate because I was one of the, Cicely, you heard of it before. I got a really good rate because I was one of the first people to go. So you can do a founder's rate if you want. You can say, listen, I'm looking to price this out at this later on, but I'm doing a founder's rate right now at, whatever, half the cost. Also optional, you can do a fast acting bonus. I love doing bonuses. Like, I'm obsessed with bonuses. I like doing bonuses. I think they're fun. I like to reward action takers, right? That's the whole thing about coaching, taking action. So optional. If you're like, I don't want to do that, don't do it. But you can do a fast acting bonus if you want. Number eight, write this down, number 8. At this point, you've given them a couple options, right? Hey, we could work together for 3 months, 10 sessions. We could work together for 6 months, 20 sessions. I'm making this up. And at that point, you're going to say, number 8, which option feels better to you? Which option feels best for you? Right? Open-ended. You tell me. And then talk through it with them. And again, we're not here to convince. Nope, we're not here to convince. We are here to make recommendations based on what they want to achieve, how long that will take, right? Number nine, write this down. If they tell you they want to think about it, which a lot of people will say, oh yeah, let me think about it. You threw a lot of info at me. Let me think about it. Let me talk to the hubby, whatever. I would then recommend scheduling a follow-up call. And I would say, hey, that's your opportunity, marinate on it, process it, talk to the hubby, whatever, talk to the wife. And that's their opportunity to ask questions once they've processed it, right? I'm a processor. And also that's their opportunity, if you do a fast acting bonus, to let you know, yeah, Betty, I want to take advantage of the bonus. Because usually a fast acting bonus is time sensitive. So they can either say, yes, I want to take advantage of the bonus, or nope, I'm not going to, right? That's up to them. So those are the 9 things you want to hit during those last 20 minutes. Put your questions in the chat. Like I said, we're going to go in probably to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So stay with me. Put your questions in the chat. Put your questions in the chat if you have any. If you don't, put in the chat that you're with me, that you're tracking, that this is making sense, that this doesn't feel like it's coming from an alien source. You're following. Okay, good. We got Cheryl following. That's good. Anyone else? David says, this is great. Okay, cool. Sheila, yeah, I know everybody's like worried about the pricing. I'll get into that for sure in the rapid Q&A. Taking it all in. That's cool. All right, cool. Just making sure you're with me. All right, we're all just about done with the workbook here. Example script talking about pricing, where everybody's worried, right? Example script talking about pricing. So Tabitha will copy and paste this. How would the script below be used if on Zoom? How would the script below be used if on Zoom? That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, now I'm less of a script person, kind of. Like I still like to have words in front of me, but in the beginning I was really a script person. So on Zoom, honestly, half the screen would be the video and I'm looking at you, I'm looking at my camera, I'm talking to you. And then the other half of the screen would be my words. And I'm scrolling. Now, if I share my screen, right, I'm making the video bigger so you can't see my script. Or if you have a laptop I have a desk computer, right, you can. So, but in the beginning, you guys, in the beginning, I was on my laptop. My laptop was on my bed. I was running calls like that. I had like a green screen background. And I just had half was the Zoom and half was my script. I tried a transcription tool that even had a pedal and you could press the pedal and the words would go down. It was just so complex. I was like, I just used a Google Doc, just scrolled, you know what I mean? Okay. So here's the script. Tabitha will put this in the comments. And again, you don't have to use the script. Some of you guys are really good just speaking off the cuff. I'm giving this for the people that need it or not need it, but want it. So here's an example. And notice the word example. It's not the only way to speak to people. You're never going to hear me say, oh, I've got the only right way. I'm giving you an example. Okay. Here it is. So I'd say to somebody, and this is about pricing, right? Hey, the coaching package for the 6-month option is 3 times a month. We're going to meet 3 times a month, one-on-one for the 6-month coaching package. Now, you're working with me as I'm building out all the elements, all these different deliverables. So down the road, it's going to actually be valued at around $20K. That's what I'm shooting for. But I'm going to be pricing it at $10K, right? That's a 6-month coaching package pricing at $10K. Now you guys got to understand, I teach my clients how to build high ticket coaching packages. Why? Because my clients are in corporate and they don't have time to sell 5, 6, 7 packages while they're working a full-time job. So we're creating packages where they can sell 1 or 2 and replace their corporate income. And these are all, and that's why I also say you can't just slap a ticket on something. It's got to be valued at double the price. So for the client, it's a win. And for you, it's a win. But I digress. So you're letting them know, listen, I'm going to be pricing this package down the road as I build out the elements around $10K. For my first 5 clients, I'm offering a founder's rate of $6,000 for a 6-month package. So you're getting a founder's rate. Or if you want the 3-month package, $4K. Now, if you sign up today or within 24 hours, I offer a fast acting bonus, and it better be good, right? Of $1,000 off. So that's going to drop the price down to $5K. If you want to work with me for 6 months, we'll get through all of the pillars. Or we could work together for 3 months and you can choose 2 of the pillars. Like I'm making that up, right? And the 3-month package would be $3K. with the bonus, the fast acting 24-hour bonus. And then I would ask, which coaching duration sounds like a better fit for you? The 6-month or the 3-month? I will say this as a sidebar. Tabitha put the script in there. I would probably, and I've done this, I do this. When you're throwing a bunch of numbers at people and they're like, whoa, where am I? It's best to just put it on a Google Doc, not the script, but like the price, package 1, duration, what's included, the price. Package 2, duration, what's included, the price. Fast acting bonus, total. Like it's like that would be the point at which I'd say, hey, I'm going to share my screen, because it's just you're chucking. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? So show them, right? So that they're like, okay, I see, I got it. So that's where I would share a screen, not with the script, but with like a grid, on a Google Doc. Doesn't need to be fancy. You can make it fancy. It's up to you. So if then the client will answer. So you're saying, hey, which sounds like the better fit? They're going to answer. Then you're going to say, now again, here's where coaches drop it. You just had somebody say, sign me up. And you're like, whoa, what? Hey, okay, I'll send you a proposal. They just said they want to work with you, right? So I would say, that sounds great. Are you ready to get started? If they said option 1 sounds best, 3 months, great, awesome. Are you ready to get started? So if they're like, yeah, I want to. Notice this whole time, there's no convincing. There's no like, I'm going to convince you. I'm going to persuade you. Nobody, you don't even want to work with a client that doesn't, that you have to like push like that, right? This is just a natural conversation. So if they're like, yeah, I want to do this, right? You're going to get the ball rolling, get them set up, right? Now, again, Stripe, if anybody's familiar with Stripe, put it in the chat. Stripe is a payment processor that will allow you to collect. Yeah, I always like to give options like that, a win-win with either option. Exactly, Cheryl. So Stripe is a payment processor that will allow you to collect payment immediately, right? You can say, okay, let's do it. Collect the first, and I would also let people know, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, you can pay monthly. It doesn't have to be painful. You can pay monthly. So I would outline that in my little Google Doc, right? You can pay in full, you can pay monthly. So I would collect the first monthly payment, put it into Stripe, right? Stripe allows you to do a manual payment. Send them the contract. They can sign the contract. And before I get off that first call, I would schedule my first session with them. And then I would tell them what comes next. Okay, great. We scheduled our first session. And then that's up to you what comes next. Now, of course, I teach in the academy how to onboard people, intake forms. Like I teach all that. But just for the sake of today, I'm trying to just get you to the point of the client for today. In the academy, we go beyond that. So if they say yes, don't back off and be like, oh, okay, talk to you later. Get it going. Let's go, right? Let's get it going. If they say they want to think about it, it's fine, right? I would say, hey, no problem. Set up a 10-minute phone call, a touch base tomorrow after you've had time to marinate, to process. And I would just let them know, hey, that's your opportunity to ask me any questions that come up for you, after you process or talk to your spouse or whatever they say they need to do. And that's your opportunity once we chat tomorrow to let me know if you want to take advantage of the $1,000 off 24-hour fast acting bonus. Right? So let's touch base before that 24-hour bonus expires. And I would just schedule that follow-up call for the next day. And it can be a phone call. I don't think the follow-up has to be like face-to-face. It's up to you. So that's if they want to think about it. And Tabitha will put that one in the comments too, because these are all little scripts. You don't have to use that exact script. I just want to give you guys an example, because I feel like this is where people trip up a little. And like I said, then what to do next? And you should be writing this in your workbook. So we're now on page 11. So what to do next? So if they say they want to think about it, we covered that. So now we're here, page 11. So they say, I want to think about it. You schedule, then you're going to schedule the follow-up call, right? Before you get off the complimentary coaching session. And then this is optional, number 2. So write this down under then. So schedule the follow-up call. Number 2, so these are things you're doing before you get off the complimentary call. This is optional, but if you have the ability to do this, this is something I teach my clients once they're in the academy, but it's optional. If you have the ability to do it, you could tell them, hey, I'm going to also send you an invoice that you can click and pay, so that you do have the option to submit payment within the 24-hour bonus window if you want to get that $1,000 off. Because sometimes people, they make the decision and they're like, okay, I don't want to wait for the follow-up call. Like, I'm ready. I made the decision. So, Stripe or whatever payment processor, and this is going to be your homework, find a payment processor. Don't be one of those people that's like, I got a coaching client, but how do I get the money, right? Get the processor ready. But if you can, the I want to think about it, send them like, here's a link. If you want to pay, you can pay and lock in your bonus rate. On the follow-up call, again, on page 11, write this down. Here we are on the follow-up call. So now it's the next day. Hey, right? Ask, did any questions come up for you when you thought about what it's like to coach with me? Now that you've had time to think about it, they'll ask whatever questions. And then number 2, do you want to take advantage of the 24-hour, $1,000 off bonus for and the founder's rate, right? If you're doing a founder's rate. Now, if they say no, nope, don't want to do it, I would just find out why. It's not about like, shake them until they, say yes. No, I would just ask like, hey, out of curiosity, is it a timing issue? Because sometimes for some people, you guys, it's not no because they don't want to work with you. Sometimes it's a timing issue, right? I'm pregnant. My son is getting married in Italy, like whatever. So I would just find out if they say no, is it a timing issue? And if you feel like they're a good fit, but it's just not the right time, I would ask permission. I would ask, if it's just a timing issue, I would just say, hey, when do you think in the future you might be ready for coaching? Right. So that I can, follow up with you. So I would just find that out. And then ask permission. I'd love to stay in touch with you. Right. And then you just stay in touch. And again, in the academy, we talk about how to nurture leads, how to build relationships. That's for another day. Okay. Gosh darn it. I think we covered it all. Questions, put them in the chat, and we'll cover them all in the rapid fire Q&A. Action items. Then I'm going to end the call with a little extra info tonight. Action items. Page 12. Your homework, get a payment processor. Okay. Tell the universe you're ready to collect payment and be ready to collect payment. So get a payment processor, number 1. Number 2, get a contract. Good to have a contract. Now, if you actually, I'll give this out during the rapid fire Q&A, but you could Google it too. If you Google ICF contract, the International Coaching Federation has a pre-made contract that you can kind of fill in the dots. So you can Google that. I'll also provide the link during the rapid fire Q&A. So have that on the ready. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so if you have a lawyer take a look at it. And then number 3, make sure you've offered every ICA participant an opportunity to schedule the complimentary coaching call. Right? That's the whole idea. I hope you guys are taking this all in. I see a lot of focused faces. Put into the chat if this has made sense to you, if this is tracking. Do you feel excited? Do you feel scared? It's amazing. Yes. Okay, cool. And you can be honest if you're like, girl, I don't know about what you just told me. It makes sense. You're tracking. Okay, good. And I want you guys to process this and come and ask questions and come to the rapid fire Q&A. So I'm going to leave you with this, okay? A couple more minutes here, and then I'm going to announce the Amazon winner. But I want to leave you with this. We are now rapidly coming upon a fork in the road. We have come upon it, day 4. And here's what I mean. At the end of tomorrow's session, okay? And I guess I could even say, at the end of tomorrow's session, at the end of this point, if you feel like you've gotten everything you need when it comes to standing up your coaching business, you're like, I've got everything I need to stand up my coaching business, go forward, go into the world, fly, right? I thank you for your time. And I would say there's no need to stay longer if you feel like you have everything you need, not just to get clients while you're at your corporate job, but in general to build your coaching business, right? I value your time. So I want to be clear. If you feel like, because I've talked to different people with different kind of things on their mind. Now, some of you guys have told me you're super fired up about what you're learning in the workshop. A lot of you have told me and Heather and Tabitha, you're asking us questions about additional support. You've got answers that are beyond this workshop, okay? You're looking for additional support and accountability in standing up your coaching business, right? People that want a blueprint of what works, a vetted formula to follow. You want to skip over the expensive trial and error of trying to build your coaching business on your own. You want someone who's been there, done that to help you. For those people who are looking to cut out the overwhelm, because I know it can be overwhelming building a business, and create those predictable and repeatable results and attracting clients long-term, because the long-term game is different than the short-term game, right? For those people who have reached out to us, this is that moment for you to make one empowered decision that will really knock down the remainder of the dominoes. Because just like I'm telling you guys, right? This is kind of like that mini, like we're solving a mini problem, but is this all there is? It isn't, right? It isn't. I could never in 1 week give you guys everything that there is when it comes to building up a coaching business. So for those of you who are asking about that, this is that moment for you to make that decision. The Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy is now officially open for registration. So the Academy is a final destination in standing up your coaching business. That's the way we've built it. It's a one-stop shop. This is your opportunity. This model is meant to simplify things. This model is meant to take out shiny object syndrome, right? This is giving you a step-by-step direction on what to do to stand up your coaching business. Tabitha and Heather, if you could put into the chat for the coaching, the Six-Figure Corporate to Coach Academy. Tabitha will put that in the chat. There are buttons in that link that talks about the Academy. You'll see little buttons for you to book a discovery call. What's a discovery call? Well, we talked about it tonight, but it's going to be for you to learn about us. What's the Academy? What do I do? How often do we meet? What's included? What are the price? What are the different options to work with you guys? You're learning about us and we're learning about you. We got to learn about you. Is the scope of the work that you're looking for something we covered? Right? And many more questions. So it's a first date. It's a consult. We're looking to see if you're a fit. So what I like to do, and I get excited doing, is something special that I only do when I'm doing an academy workshop like this. Let's bring it front and center. Bonuses. I'm obsessed with bonuses. I'm a bonus gal. Buckle up, making some of you guys dizzy. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, not all the way to the bottom, if you scroll here, Here they are. Bonuses. I'm a bonus gal. So if you book your discovery call, and Tabitha, could you put in the link for people to book, go directly to the discovery call to book the discovery call? If you book your call with us and end up joining the Academy by Tuesday, by the way, this is the same date. All the videos are coming down, just so you can remember, by Tuesday. You're going to get the fast acting bonus bundle with $8,600 worth of bonuses. So we really jacked it up. I have fun with these. $1,000 off is the first bonus if you're paying monthly installments, $3,000 off if you pay in full. Now, on the discovery call, we will go through the pricing options with you if we think that you're a fit. And if you think that we're a fit, we'll go through pricing options. But you should know that you get $1,000 off monthly installments and $3,000 off paid in full. Bonus 2. And this one is always exciting. The first 5 people to get accepted into the Academy will receive 2 private 60-minute deep dive strategy sessions. By the way, you can work with, and I will say this, you can work with me one-on-one, or you can join our group. I do have a limited, I'm talking like handful, less than a handful of one-on-one spots available, and I'm just keeping it real. But you can work with me in the group or the one-on-one. But either way, bonus 2 is the first 5 people get 2 private 60-minute strategy sessions. The first one is with me. So I love these. I roll up my sleeves. I get all up in your business. What we're going to do, I'm going to give you an intake form, and then I'm going to build out with you a comprehensive strategy on where I want you to focus first to hit your first financial milestone. Okay, that's valued at $1,500. So we're going to build out your customized blueprint. And I know for a lot of you, we'll probably do some niche, getting specific on your niche and building out that blueprint. Private session number 2 is with our social selling expert. If you do not know how to social sell, this is a form of outreach that is all about relationship building. If you do not know how to social sell, I am telling you, you will have a rough rest of 2024 because it's just, I mean, think about for yourselves. When you get those really obnoxious outreach messages of people just pounding you with like, book a call, that's not what it's about. Social selling is about building relationships with people. Okay, this is how clients will come your way. So you're going to get a private session with our social selling expert. She's going to teach you not only how to effectively outreach to cold prospects, she's actually going to help you customize your outreach to your niche. And I don't even know why I valued that at $600, because honestly, it should really be, if not this, more than this, because this is what's going to land you sales. Bonus 3, I'm going to audit your social media profile. Why? Because it needs to be optimized in order to attract clients, valued at $500. Bonus 4, another one of my favorites. I like to call it a coach in your pocket. 30-day Voxer access to me. It's kind of like a walkie-talkie app. You can ask any questions. I'll get back to you. Hey, get you your answers. I know with a lot of programs out there that I've seen, people will join, they're all pumped up, and then they're like, where's my coach? Right? So for us, the first 30 days, if you get the bonus, if you're one of, by Tuesday, 30-day Voxer access to me, so we can walkie-talkie back and forth. You can ask questions and I can answer them. Bonus 5, which is also a lot of fun. If you pay in full, because you have options, you can go monthly, you can pay in full, it's up to you. But the pay in full people get a half a day cash injection workshop. It is live with me so that you can get a fast ROI, right? And that one's valued at $1,000. Every time I see this, I'm like, it's worth so much more than that, but it almost feels unbelievable if I up the value. But you make one sale and it's a lot more than this. But bottom line, up to $8,600 worth of bonuses. So very, very excited about that. Again, you gotta book your discovery call. You got to book your discovery call. And I will say this too. If you're on the fence and you're like, girl, I don't know if this is for me, right? That's the point of the discovery call. That's the point of the discovery call, is for you to find out, are we for you and are you for us, right? It's one of those. Let's pull up one more thing before I announce the winner of the Amazon gift card. As people have been asking, what is included? What's the academy? What are you talking about? So here it is, Corporate to Six Figure Coach Academy. It's my website. Let's go here. So I want you to kind of think about it. There's two parts to the academy. One is the six-figure coaching business success squad. And I will tell you this, okay? Are you hiring a coach? It's like, yeah, I hired a business coach. Yes, you are, right? I'm going to be your business coach, right? I'm a business coach. I'm a marketing expert. I take you by the hand. I walk you through creating a six-figure coaching business, right? That's what I do. Whether you're in the group or one-on-one, my group clients, I'm hot seat coaching you on business strategy. However, I think the way that I've always looked at it is, you know, if one person tells you they have all the answers to everything, it's a lie, right? It takes a village to build a business. It takes a village. So we have built kind of like this board of advisors. So in addition to coaching with me, we're going to have you take an assessment. Have you take an assessment so we can assign you to a success coach? They will also be working with you one-on-one. So again, you can decide to work with me in the group or one-on-one. That's up to you. Your success coach will work with you one-on-one. Okay. They're graduates of the academy. For those of you in IPEC, we've got IPEC certified coaches. It just depends, you know, who we assign you with. They're going to help you get out of your own way. They're going to hold you accountable. And this is the other thing I can't stand about a lot of programs. They chuck information at you and then they're like, okay, go do it. Nobody's holding you accountable, right? So this is going to be a layer of accountability. And the other really cool thing that we came up with is this 30-day game plan. This 30-day game plan, and it's a workbook that you will be filling out with your success coach. So every 30 days, you are tracking to your goals. I think that's another big mistake I see in business coaching programs. You got this massive goal of setting up a financially sound coaching business, but there's no check-ins at the 30-day mark, at the quarterly mark, right? We should be making sure you're tracking to those goals, and that's what your success coach will do. We also have a copy coach. I freaking love her. She is a rock star. For those of you who went to IPEC, you probably know her, maybe. She's quite well known in the IPEC community. She's got 15 plus years of copywriting and marketing experience. In this program, we provide you all the templates. You guys know I'm a template girl. Anything to do with copy, template. But she will be editing and providing you edits and feedback on any of your copy. Do you have to use templates? You don't. They're for the people that want them. Even if you don't use a template, you're going to always have a copy coach in the background to give you edits and to answer your questions. Money mindset coach. So if you know, I mean, you guys know this. I can give you the best blueprint in the world and say, this is how to build your business. But if your mindset is like, oh my gosh, I can't sell high ticket. I'm not worth it. My program's not worth it. I'll never make as much money as I did in my corporate job, right? These are problems. And coaches need coaches. So we do have a mindset coach who will work with you on money mindset. You'll have a peer accountability pod. So we're going to match you with 4 to 6 Academy members who are going to be at the same place as you in the program. And this pod you'll meet with separately for a couple reasons. One, to deepen your mastery of business concepts. It's one thing for you to learn. I'm like teaching and coaching you. It's another thing for you to have these deep dive conversations with your pod. So you'll deepen your mastery of business concepts. And you also, another layer of accountability. It's so interesting to hear. I do 2 surveys a year on feedback on my program because it's constant. We're continuous improvement. And this is one of the favorite parts. People love their peer accountability pod. And last but not least, you get an in-person event ticket to our event in Tampa, Florida. Now, we're not paying for your airfare, I'm sorry, but you are getting a ticket to the event here in Tampa, Florida, where I am located. And some of you live here, so it won't be too far for you to get here. So we'll be doing an event. You'll be able to network with fellow Academy members. You'll be able to learn. I'll be teaching. You'll get hot seat coaching from me. This is another favorite. So this is your squad. These are the people that'll surround you, wrap their arms around you. We have a no-fail policy. And let me explain what that means. As long as you show up, there's nothing we won't do to support you. As long as you're doing the work and you're showing up, you're going to get that back from us tenfold. Okay? So these are the arms that will wrap around you. It's not just I hired a business coach. It's I got a team behind me. The next part is the 6-figure coaching business in a box. So you will get immediate access to an on-demand online learning center with all the training videos. You guys have heard me mention a couple of times, oh, we do it in the academy. We do it in the academy. So we have 5 modules. Every module has multiple lessons. You'll get all the training videos, worksheets, and more. So in that on-demand learning center, I can't even list out everything in there. You get a lead magnet template, email nurture sequence scripts. I hired a social media graphic designer. I told her what kind of graphics we needed for coaches, and she created a library of social media graphics for coaches. And you'll get access to that. You'll learn how to customize them to your color, your logo, etc. Outreach scripts, discovery calls. The whole thing. This, I'm geeking out over this, but I am so freaking excited about this. We have included in the package, if you opt for it, it's up to you. Some of you have a website, but we've included a website build in the package because that's really the idea. We don't want you to have to go out and, I got to pay for this. And I got to pay for this. I got to buy this. It's an all-in-one. It's an all-inclusive. Okay, so your very own website build if you opt for it. So the way that it works, it's a website. There are templates. I designed it with an expert web designer. He did all the work, and I knowing what it takes to convert people to book a call, to convert people to sign up for your email list, partnered with this incredible web designer and created a customized website for you guys. This isn't something I bought from a web designer and said, oh yeah, thanks, I'm going to give it to my clients. I spent a year putting this together with him. So I'm obsessed with this. And it comes as part of the package. Told you there was 2 ways to work with me. You do get unlimited access to me and my team in between sessions. And I remind my clients of that all the time. I don't want you to wait in between sessions. Oh, I can't talk to Betty till our next session. You will have access to me in between sessions for support. Now, we are different. This is not your typical business coaching program. Part of this is my background. I've worked at different Fortune 500s as a corporate communications leader. Why does that matter? I am very well versed on what it takes to create compelling and engaging content that inspires a consumer to take action. So all those years in corporate finally paid off because now I'm using them to help coaches, which is my calling. But this is really what it takes. This is how I had a lot of success as a career coach. I started out as a career coach, is I have that background. So I'm taking that expertise and I'm teaching that to you guys. I told you guys about the accountability. I told you guys about the tools included. I told you guys that our specialty is high ticket. And the reason for that is it's a win-win for you. For you guys selling a high ticket coaching program, you can sell 1 to 2 packages per month to hit your financial target. The idea here is I'm teaching you how to create value. We're not just slapping a price ticket on. my specialty is helping you create double the value of the price ticket. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. It's a win for your client because they're going to have a longer time to work with you. They're going to have more assets, more tools, right, to be able to achieve their goals, right? So it's a win-win. And I told you about the website. Now, this is a 1-year business incubator, okay? This is not a digital course. This is not a quickie, 90-day, 10 sessions. This is the real deal, okay? I have measured out how long it takes to get people through my 5 modules and to get to where they need to be to have consistent, predictable monthly income that will replace their corporate job. And, our goal is really to be there with you until the finish line, right? We're not saying, here's how to do it and sending you off and crossing our fingers. We're holding your hand to the finish line. So we created it as a 1-year business incubator very intentionally. Step 1, this is my signature method. We're going to choose your niche. Okay. Now it's not just about, oh yeah, I chose my niche. I'm a career coach. There's more. You guys know there's more to it. Now you guys got a little head start because we talked about ICA surveys, etc. We also need to, this is again where coaches struggle, is the messaging. Okay. It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm a health coach. It's another thing to explain to people who you help and what you help them with. Very important that your messaging resonates. That's my jam, is messaging. Okay. So we're going to tighten that up. We need to make sure you're positioned in the market strategically. I use something called a competition matrix. We're going to look at your competitors and strategically position you in the market. All right. The idea here is that you become a category of one. How do you do that? We're going to need to identify what your competitors are lacking, that your ideal client avatars are begging for, and include that in your program. Okay. So this is positioning, messaging. There's more than just choosing the niche. Your package, right? We're going to make sure you've simplified your offerings. I'm going to help you with pricing, but more important than pricing, I'm going to help you with value. Value. It should be a no-brainer. If regardless of what your price is, it should be a no-brainer because the client's like, wow, I see the value. You're going to create your own unique signature method. This is my method. But you guys all need a signature method. Okay. So you're going to learn to create your own unique signature method. Then we're going to launch. We got to launch your brand. Now, what I see that is not great is a coach will oh yeah, I got a website, and they're very excited. And they'll go to Facebook and they'll say, friends, family, I'm launching my business. And they'll post their website. And that's it. And their friends and family will say, good job. And that's it. And then the next week it's silent. And the week after that, silent. They're like, what happened? Where are all the clients? That's not a launch. That's not a launch. Okay. Again, this is what I do. Communication launch strategy. So we're going to create a brand launch communication strategy to get the people out there as excited about your launch as you are. And that's going to take some work on the front end. All right. Part of this too is, the tools that go into creating the business, right? We're going to have to set up the machine, all of the different tools, optimize your profile, get your scheduling system, right? Make sure that everything is all systems go. This is the meat and potatoes right here, this guy. Now I've talked to you guys about, this workshop, we talked about, attracting clients while you're still at your corporate job. But this here is the client attraction system that is the sustainable system that you build so that you can have a full-time coaching business for life, right? This is the machine, right? So part outreach, part social media, right? There's all these different parts to it, part PR, part media mention. There's your clients should be coming to you from a multitude of ways. Okay. It's like a wheel. There are many spokes on that wheel. So I'm going to help you build that machine. Here's the good news. And you should be happy about this. You're not doing all the work. Okay. It's not all like, oh my gosh, Betty wants me to do all this stuff. Part of this will be automated, but you got to learn how and what. And part of this can be outsourced or delegated. And there are ways to do that without spending an arm and a leg. So you're going to learn here what the system looks like. And last but not least, closing the deal. And again, I am not, you guys should know this by now in this workshop. It's not about being pushy. It's not about I got to convince somebody to work with me, right? There's a way to authentically, naturally work with clients. And I will tell you this. Here's what's really important. This line right here. If you're doing the heavy lifting on the discovery call itself, like somebody gets on a call and they're like, who are you? What do you do? You're doing it wrong. So you guys need to learn all of the things that go into it prior to the discovery call. We talked about some of that today, but once you have all systems go, there's going to be more to it in a good way that you can create a template and kick out for every prospect ahead of time. Okay. People have asked me, what are the niches I work with? What are the niches I work with? And I've worked with all different. I honestly, it'd be interesting if you could stump me on a niche. I can't. I've worked with just about every niche. This methodology works for just about every niche. I've worked with leadership coaches. Lori now is at 45K in 4 months. I should change that. So she's an imposter syndrome coach for executive women. Pretty cool niche. Shanna, listen to her niche, a performance mindset coach for athletes, student athletes. She landed a 55K contract before she ended working with me. Petra worked with startup companies, 24K sales, back-to-back 10K months. Vicky here is a work-life integration coach. So kind of like avoiding burnout, 23K in 2 weeks. Julie, oh man, I've got a lot of updates to do. So you guys are going to meet Julie. Julie is now at 30K a month. So I'm going to bring her in to interview her. I was bragging about her at 75K in 2 weeks. She's at 30K a month. This girl blows my mind. But she also takes action, which is key, right? I can't give you a magic pill. You got to take action. Career coaches, and let's see here, relationship coaches. Jacqueline's a good example. She's a relationship coach. And what's cool about her is she uses spirituality to help people in their relationships. So she uses spirituality to help people in the relationships. She was sitting right where you guys are. She took one of a boot camp and she said, Betty, I invoiced $13,500 since your boot camp. And she was one of the gals who joined the academy. So anyways, long story short, niche, I've worked with many a niche. So again, if you could just put in the link, Tabitha, one more time for both the program and the link for booking a call for these guys before I announce the winner. Hopefully you guys have what you need, and we would love to see your beautiful faces and chat with you on a discovery call. Do make sure when you book your discovery call, we have a form, an intake form. It's going to ask you very basic questions, right? Do make sure that you fill that out so that we know what your direction you're going, what your challenges are, etc. But bottom line, this workshop is scratching the surface of the amount of support that you will get in this program and what we have in store for you. My mission, my passion, my vision is to help corporate renegades who have a servant heart and desire to stand up their coaching business, because that was me. All right, guys, let's announce the winner. I think I'm about to lose my voice, and it's dinner time for you guys. All right. So here we go with the winner. Drum roll, please. $25 Amazon gift card. Our winner of the $25 Amazon gift card is Rachel Hopkins. Rachel, let's see if I can get my confetti. Woo! Let's see if I can get my fireworks. Congrats, Rachel. You've been a pleasure. All right, guys. Tomorrow, make sure you're with us tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are planning to bring in one of our coaches to interview. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions and to see how they achieved their goals. So you can kind of get a behind the scenes look. Commit to imperfect, consistent, strategic action. Head over to the Facebook group, answer the homework thread. We'll be doing one of our favorite giveaways on tomorrow's call. We'll see you 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to book your discovery call with us to be eligible for the boot camp bonus bundle. And post the answer in the homework thread. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.